Prime Minister, so you have a deal, but when you sat opposite us in the leadership contest, you said the withdrawal agreement is dead. Now, can you admit that you have at least resurrected some fairly significant parts of it?
Well, the most important part of the old withdrawal agreement is gone, in the sense that two vital things are different, and that's what I always said during the leadership campaign. We've got a deal that allows us to get out of the backstop that's abolished, and we can do free trade agreements as one whole United Kingdom around the world. This means, as one whole United Kingdom, we can take back control, as we always said, of our borders, our money, our laws, do free trade deals, set our own future according to the democratic will of the United Kingdom, as one United Kingdom. And that is a great step forward. Now, clearly, what matters is MPs coming together across the House tomorrow to get this thing done. And I just kind of invite everybody to imagine what it could be like tomorrow evening if we have settled this and we have respected the will of the people, because we will then have a chance to move on and begin the immensely positive and exciting work of doing the new partnership with our European friends, doing the free trade agreement, not just with the EU, though that is obviously crucial, but with other countries around the world.
And there's no question.
And of course, focusing on the priorities of the British people.
And you, of course, would be very relieved if it goes through tomorrow, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But in order to get this deal, though, you have given some concessions. The other side have compromised, but so have you. And in particular, you've accepted quite a significant customs border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom. Now, that is something you said you would never do. You said no British Prime Minister could do that.
No, and what we haven't, on the contrary, there is, it's very clearly stated in the in Article 6A, says point 1, Northern Ireland is in the customs territory of the United Kingdom, and it goes on to explain that Northern Ireland can do free trade deals with the rest of the UK,
yes,
offering our tariff schedules, offering our
tariff
schedules, offering the whole of Northern Ireland. And yes, no, but let me explain that, because I think people do need to understand what we've done. The issue is what do you do to stop goods going via Northern Ireland into Ireland unless you have checks at the Northern Irish border. And nobody wants to have checks at the Northern Irish border. So what we've agreed with the EU is that temporarily and by consent of the people of Northern Ireland, if there's stuff that's coming from GB into Ireland or from anywhere else in the world via Northern Ireland into Ireland, then yes, there can be checks. But that, of course, and those checks can be levied by UK authorities. But that is very far from having a tariff border. On the contrary, what you do have is a single UK customs zone.
You do have a single UK zone.
Absolutely vital.
But by your own admission, and it's there in black and white in the deal, there will be extra customs checks between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, going that way, as you've just explained. And for some people, including your allies, that's just not acceptable. That puts the union at risk.
There are no tariffs going from GB to NI.
No, but there are extra checks. And there
already are. As you know, there already are checks for epidemiological purposes going from GB to NI. But I'll see things about this, Laura. Not only is it by consent, not only is it temporary, but of course it is also going to be superseded as we come out, as I hope we do at the end of this month, as we get on to negotiate the UK-EU free trade agreement. So all these arrangements are in fact going to be obsolete once we do that big EU-UK free trade deal.
You hope they will be. And you can see, as you've explained, you have made a compromise to get the bigger prize of the deal. But do you accept that's what's happened here? That you have broken a promise you made to the DUP,
no, I don't accept
the
that
bigger prize of the deal?
No.
That's what they feel.
Well, I think that what you have is a fantastic deal for all of the UK, and particularly for Northern Ireland, because you've got a single customs territory. Northern Ireland leaves the EU with the rest of the UK, can take part in free trade deals. There aren't any tariff barriers. What is a customs union? A customs union, for people getting absorbed in all this. A customs union is a thing with a perimeter around it that agrees to set customs duties in common.
If it's such a fantastic deal,
that is what the UK will do with Northern Ireland included.
So
it's a great step forward for our country.
And a great step forward for you if it goes through.
People will vote for it tomorrow.
Do you believe it will pass through the House of Commons?
Well, I very much hope so. And that's why I said what I said about what it could be like tomorrow evening. And I suppose what I would say to friends and colleagues in the House of Commons is, look, this has been a long, exhausting and quite divisive business, Brexit. I think this will be the fourth time we've tried to get the House of Commons to approve something that was decided by the people in 2016. This would be the second agreement we've done with the EU. I think it's a great agreement. It takes us forward. It gets us out of the backstop. It gives us the freedoms that I have described. I hope that people will think, well, what's the balance? What do our constituents really want? Do they want us to keep going with this argument? Do they want more division and delay? Or do they want us to focus on putting more money into the NHS, which is what we're doing, expanding provision for lifting up provision for education?
The numbers look very tight.
And putting more police out on the streets, tackling knife crime. Those are the priorities of my constituents, and I think of everybody's constituents.
But the numbers look very tight. There is a good chance this will not pass. If it does not pass, do you still say we will leave the European Union at the end of this month?
I think that's I do. I think we should leave the European Union.
That's
on
very different.
October
Saying I think
31st.
we should is very different to saying we
will.
Then
let me say we will leave the European Union on October the 31st. And I was very interested at the European Council last night and over the last few hours. The feeling of wanting to get Brexit done is strong, not just in this country, and not just in our parliament, but really across the world now, and particularly with our EU friends and partners. They see the wasted opportunities. These are years the locusts have stolen, going by, 3.5 years already, that we need to get on and build a new partnership, build a fantastic new free trade agreement, which we can do, and I think they'd rather do that. And they look ahead at all the other, I'm talking about our friends and partners, they look ahead at all the other possibilities, and there's no better outcome than the one I'm advocating tomorrow.
They want rid of us now, do you think?
I don't think it's that. I think that a lot of them, feel that, a lot of them regret the way the vote went in 2016, but they've moved on. They've been through the stages, and they now think that's the will of the people. The Brits want to get this thing done, and they urgently want to move on to the next phase, and I'm with them.
Prime Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you.